Gorilla Bash 6 is my latest installment of the Bang Dream combo contest that I host. This time, the format is a little bit different, where players are split into 3 tiers. In this tournament, we have 12 amateur players, 11 intermediate players, and 8 gorilla players, all fighting for the top spot. Here, each player is responsible for fighting everyone in their tier at least once in a round-robin format. When playing against their opponent, they'll be playing a set list of 3 songs that are predetermined, and the goal is to get as many points as possible in the round robin by winning against your opponent with a higher score. Score is dependent on your perfect, great, and good notes, and the higher score you get, and if you defeat your opponent in that particular song, you earn 2 points. A loss is 0 points, and a tie is 1 point. This will be an interim report on how everyone is doing in their respective tiers after 1 week of Gorilla Bash happening. So let's take a look at this amateur bracket standings so far, after 1 week of Gorilla Bash 6. Now the amateur bracket has the largest number of players in it and also has progressed the least at the time of this recording, so a lot of things could change, so we'll see how this goes. A lot of unpredictable results could happen in this tier in particular, but at least starting off and leading the pack right now is Crump. Out of the 3 matches she's played so far, she has 8 game wins and 1 game tie. So she's actually the only person in this entire tournament who has yet to lose a single individual game, hence her score of 17, kind of leading the way here. For those who may be a little bit confused on how to look at challenge, I think the score she is the best way to look at it, because the score basically effectively calculates points based on how much they win or lose or tie, as I mentioned earlier. You can see that Kaiden, Lang, and Zun Feiki are all neck and neck in terms of possibly getting the first spot, although all 3 of them have played an extra set. So Crump has a pretty large advantage in terms of being able to possibly take first place here, but who knows how it goes, because Crump has yet to play any of these individuals yet. Lang, Kaiden, and also Zun Feiki. So and some notable matchups to keep in mind, you can see how Yukio, also someone who has yet to lose a single set yet. Yukio is also pretty close ahead and has set wins over Zun Feiki as well as Lang. So that's definitely something to look out for. Yukio is also definitely a dark horse to possibly take the amateur bracket. Kaiden was doing well, but did unfortunately suffer a 3-0 loss to Lang, so that's also sort of why they're pretty much neck and neck here. And Zun, although hasn't won as many sets, the sets that they have won have been dominant, so and the losses are not very lopsided losses either. So Zun Feiki is also in the running here. So definitely be on the lookout for possibly matchups between these 5 players, especially Crump, who is going to play these players later in the bracket, and we'll see who will win amateur brackets. So again, for those who know some of the amateur brackets here, feel free to see who you think you might have a chance of winning. Also, just to kind of note on some other notable people, Riley also actually took a set win over Lang, so you never know how some of these players go, and especially amateur bracket, very unpredictable. So let's see how things go with these competitors here. The intermediate bracket is also relatively bloated with a number of players, and also has the most amount of matches done. As you can see with the match history, there's a lot more things done. Some people have played as much as 7 matches already, which is quite a lot. So we already have a pretty good idea of how our intermediate bracket is going, although the results are pretty close. Leading the way is Calvin with a score of 28 points, racking up almost a perfect record, although it has been hampered a little bit by a 3-0 sweep by Falcon, who's actually shown some pretty good promise there. Of course, another competitor to keep in mind is Richard Zinn, who is so far hasn't lost a single set, has lost a few individual games, but overall has won every single set thus far. And of course, should there be tiebreakers, having more set wins is going to be very important here. So definitely keep that in mind. Also, Richard has not played as many games as Calvin, so does have a set in hand and could possibly take the title here. So both of these two are very close up in the front. Now, in terms of the other competitors, and again, there are 2 more spots, again, the top 4 for finals. Lassie has a good amount of points, although they haven't won as many sets compared to the others. They always keep the sets competitive, but has not been really winning these sets, so we'll see. And as well, Lassie has played the most out of everyone, so we'll see if anyone else catches up. Sal, after a relatively slow start with you see the set losses at the beginning, has been slowly racking up points to get a sort of even match win record, and also has secured 19 points. Yvette's had a strong start and has been kind of tapering off a little bit. Likewise with Scarlet. Both of these players were kind of at the top, but now have been sort of fading back as some players like Mal and Falcon are trying to catch up from their early slow start. So I think intermediate is very wide open in terms of who can make the top 4. The top spots, I think so far Calvin and Richard are the ones that are really going to fight it out for it. But the last 2 spots, I think it's going to be really competitive, going to go right down to the wire. So I think matches, because a lot of the matches have already been played, so there's actually not too many matches left to sort of report. But I guess one thing to keep in mind, the Calvin Richard Zin matchup is probably going to be the one that's going to be really exciting to see how that goes. I've mentioned a couple of other individuals who are sort of in the mix to possibly fight, like Yvette and Scarlet. They're going to be playing in round 10, so they could possibly be deciding who will actually get in. So a lot of really interesting head-to-head matchups here, so we'll see how it goes with the intermediate bracket. Last but not least, the Gorilla bracket, the smallest out of everyone, and has been progressing relatively smoothly. At the start, Niji Star was really kind of dominating and pretty much 3-0ing every single person he faced here with Davy Cat, Ruby, and Vimo. But bumped into a little bit of a roadblock and got 3-0'd himself by Croven J, who Croven J herself, she's kind of going off a slow start, kind of split some matches with Charoon, and also didn't do quite as well against Sen, who is a very, very notable, of course, player here. So Croven is sort of a veteran of the sort of Gorilla Bash series. We'll see if she's able to possibly bring it back, so far being in 5th spot. Vimo's a newcomer and has been going really toe-to-toe with many of our competitors here, keeping it very competitive with Sen, and also got a set win against Davy and as well, and also some win against Ruby. So Vimo is also someone that's definitely to look out for. Charoon, of course, also relatively veteran to the scene here in terms of Gorilla Bash, has 15 points so far, has some decent set wins after losing the first one to Croven J. Now, the person to definitely look out for right now is Sen, who is pretty dominant so far. She has lost a few individual games here and there, but has been clutching it out and actually winning these sets, other than a tie that we saw earlier here with Charoon. So Sen, again, I think right now, I wouldn't have said this earlier, but after a few set losses from Niji, Sen might be the favorite to win, although, again, top 4 spots. I think there's 5 that's really competitive. Butter could also really bring it back if they could do that. So let's see how it goes. I think the matchup's really to look out for, because everyone is just so closely matched here, and because there's not as many matches here in amateur. I think just to kind of see what the matches are. Niji and Sen are the 2 that are fighting at the very end, and this could really decide who's going to be first place. So I think this one's going to be the one that's definitely looking out for the most and will be the most exciting. Also, just another side, Vimo and Croven J, they're supposed to fight next. They're really much neck and neck for that 4th spot, so we'll see how it goes and how the set progress goes here. So Gorilla, I think, has been pretty exciting to see, and I think the most exciting part about this tournament in general is seeing people slowly improve and really get to improve themselves, because some people start off on slow starts and then they realize, I really got to practice, and they know what songs they have to play ahead, so they practice ahead and actually start ending up making some big marks and trying to do that. I think one of the biggest examples is Lassie, who at the start again started off very slow and wasn't really doing too well, but then they were able to get some pretty key wins, or at least some game wins against some pretty notable players as well, like tying with Falcon. 3-0ing Scarlet is also very pretty notable too, right? So just as an example, right? So it's really nice to see how competitors, after they realize how they're doing, they're really sort of realizing, oh, like I could actually, you know, try and improve and really kind of make sure to better prepare. PP Tenshi, another example as well, losing the first 4 sets and then kind of bringing it back and winning a few sets here and there. So this is actually has been a very exciting tournament thus far. I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes. And let me know in the comments if you are following any of these competitors, what you guys think about this interim report. October 31st will be the last day where everyone will submit their matches, and then we'll see how things go. We'll see who will be in the top 4 of each tier, and then we will have the finals. So looking forward to that. So looking forward to some great action. If you guys want to follow the action, feel free to look at the description below. The challenge brackets will be constantly updated with all 3 tiers, so definitely check that out. And we'll see you all in November for finals for Gorilla Bash 6.